Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we are back on the free-to-play account, and guess what? We have done another Faction Wars 21, and this one was a little bit tricky and a little bit weird, to say so, because it was a little bit more difficult on certain stages than I expected. The first thing that I want to talk about, honestly, is the fact that, I'm not sure if I said it's the Ogryn tribes one, but I guess you could tell from the thumbnail. But yeah, the Ogryn tribes is the first one that actually took down. But like I said, the tricky thing with this one was the fact that it wasn't the boss part that I found to be most difficult, but it was actually stage, I think it was stage 19. Let me just find a picture for that, because that's just insane. Yeah. So stage 19 was the one that was insane, because you know what you have to face on stage 19 are 3 Aetors and 2 Kalias at the end of the wave. And I think, if I remember correctly, at the beginning of the wave there's Valkyries as well. So this one was so difficult, not because of the Valks, not because of the second wave, just all because of the last wave. The reason for that is a champion that's normally useless in the game, like nobody uses him, you would not use him anywhere, is extremely annoying and hard to tackle because of the tactic that you would use. Normally, the Ogryn tribes has some simple tactics, and that's using the Bellower straight up, 1, 2, 3 Bellowers in stun sets, the one that's hiding behind me. And that's it, you beat it. But, well, let's have a look at what Aetor actually does. So, A1, 50% chance to provoke, meh, whatever. A2, attacks 2 times at random, 75% chance to provoke, meh, nothing too crazy. A3, this one, the passive, heals the champion by 50% of their max HP and places a counterattack whenever they're hit with a crit. So, and I think they're actually booked. Yeah, they're actually booked on that wave, because every time they got a turn, I would crit them, they would heal up again. But now, check this out. Immune to stun, freeze, and sleep debuffs, only available on Kalias on the same team. Guess what the last wave was? 3 of this guy and 2 Kalias. So, it was so annoying, I could not deal with it. I had 2 Bellowers in stun sets, I had my level 6, my 6-star Skrank, I had my Korugar death spell, and I just could not deal with it because I could not stun them, I could not survive enough, so I had to bring myself, as I shown in the picture, I had to drop one of the Bellowers in stun set, and I had to bring Prundar, and boy oh boy is Prundar good. Level 40 Prundar is actually amazing for Faction Wars, guys. Flash news, if you're struggling with Faction Wars, build Prundar. Now let's have a look at stage 21 that I actually did. And the reason why Prundar, actually first let's look. The reason why Prundar is so good is because he has an AoE hit that can provoke, plus increase defense. I didn't even have him booked. But then his A3 is actually amazing. Strengthen and continuous heal on everybody. It is on a 5-turn cooldown, but that's pretty good. At the same time, on the A1, he can place decreased speed, and he also has a chance to stun if he's counterattacking. So his kit is actually pretty good for Faction Wars. You will not book him because, well, he eats up books the same way he eats up cakes. So you just don't need to book him and use him like that. So the way that I've dealt with this stage was exactly the same team. Let me just take it back so you see. So just use the same one. Bellower, Korugar death spell, what's his name again? Gear Grinder, Skrank, and then Prundar. So basically I had the level 40, I had 2 rares in the team, and some good epic and a good legendary, I'm not gonna lie. But this one's actually pretty easy. So the Ogryn tribe Faction Wars is pretty easy as long as you cover the right roles. I feel like the way that you need this the way to do this one is pretty easy. Just get 1 Bellower and stun set, book him up, get him to 6-star. You might even get him masteries because you might use him in a stun set for other areas of the game. So the Bellower is the easy option, plus he brings you the speed lead, that's really helpful. Then the next one that I really suggest to build if you have him is Gear Grinder. He's just a rare, but he's amazing. He is a void rare, but he actually brings amazing stuff in his kit. Like, he brings healing, he brings revive, he can sustain himself, and that's something that's really important. I noticed that I was trying to do this with Gear Grind and Regen, and that was not good enough. It wasn't helping me as much. I was struggling. So I chose to change his build, and I put him in a Relentless. That can actually work better because he has self-sustainability, like I mentioned. Basically what he does is on his A1, if he crits, every time he does the A1, he can put a continuous heal on himself. It's the baby version, but, well, if you have a Relentless and he keeps doing A1s, guess what's gonna happen? He's gonna keep healing himself, and he can keep himself alive. So these two, I feel like, are definitely a good core to start off with, especially because they are rare champions, like I mentioned. Then after that, you kind of need like 1-2 support champions if you can get. That's where the Prundar came in for me, like I said, for a little bit of provoke, for that strengthen and continuous heals. Those are really powerful. Really powerful. And then Korugar came in clutch as well, because he brings me ally protection, strengthen again. He does also bring a cleanse on his A2 plus turn meter boost, and then on the A1 he keeps healing himself. So Korugar is actually an amazing champion. But if you have Prundar, I feel like you could do it without Korugar. You just, instead of him, I don't know, bring a Skull Crusher. Skull Crusher brings ally protection, he brings counterattack. That might be even better, I'm not gonna lie, okay? Because in this team, like I said, I would already have the, what's it called, the strengthen from Prundar. And then the last spot, well, it's Skrank for me. That's a DPS. Obviously, the best DPS you would have, that would be better. Other champions that could be awesome in here, like if I had them, I would bring them, would be somebody like an Ugo, because this is what happens on this boss. The side ads put block debuffs and block damage, and that makes it annoying. At the same time, they keep getting debuffs. Every time he attacks, he puts a debuff and pushes back turn meter. Every time you attack him, he puts HP burn. So this boss is really annoying, and having honestly a cleanser, healer, block debuffer is really important for this one. Or just going the high resist route, okay? You would have to get everybody about 300 resist, but you could maybe do that with the resistance chest and a resistance banner, and I think that would work pretty easily, as you would resist the turn meter pushback, you would resist the poisons, the HP burn, and that could make this really easy. Or at least get a few of those champions in that. But if I had an Ugo in here, this would have been so much easier, because Ugo, not only would he bring me heal, he would bring cleanse on the A3, he would bring block buffs, so these ones will not happen, he would bring decreased defense, so Ugo would be amazing. I think if I had Ugo, I could easily like drop either Prundar or Korugar, one of those two, and just bring him in the team. But the way that I basically tried to do this is I slowly took the minions away, and at the same time I was slowly hitting the boss with Skrank. Basically with your damage dealer, you want to hit the boss. With everybody else, you want to hit the side ads, unless it's like, you know, somebody that's like a Bellower that has AoE and you cannot avoid it. But the reason why I say that is every time you hit the boss, he puts an HP burn for 1 turn, as you can see on you. And that obviously is damage that keeps taking. So you see I was slowly focusing them, slowly hitting the side ads, then the boss, depending, you know, when I could. If the boss had block damage, well, I was not hitting the boss, as I could not do that. But it was a little bit tricky, however, it worked just fine. People kept dropping, I kept reviving them with Gear Grinder, I kept doing the cleanse and the turn meter boost with Korugar, the A1s from Bellower, I kept getting, see, I was getting some stuns on the side ads, which allowed me to do the job. Then again, ally protection, see, came in clutch in there from Korugar. So this team actually had a good synergy and had a balance of healing, again, healing, see, continuous heals plus strengthen, ally protection, more healing from Gear Grinder. So it's actually, I think mostly it's an achievable team, obviously apart from the legendary that I showed, but you could do this mostly with rares and epics. So as long as you have the right builds and the right synergy along your champions, and you will obviously need a little bit of RNG to 3-star it, this faction should be one of the pretty easier ones. As long as you have those void rares. So let me slowly push this fast forward, because this is a slow fight, but just kept slowly taking away. And you see, as you see, we're mostly at full HP unless we get some big AoEs, a big crit in there. Somebody dies, and then Gear Grinder revives again. But this actually worked slowly. We got when it was just us against the boss, and you see somebody dies, boom, I revive. I always try to do the revive just before I have the ally protection as well, so that I can keep them alive, because otherwise this happens, the AoE happens, and he dies again. And that True Fear can be tricky as well. True Fear can be annoying, because if you want to use your big skill and True Fear procs, well, True Fear procs like that, it goes on cooldown, so need to keep that in mind. But overall, Ogryn's was pretty easy, like I said. It was a longer one because I have no War Master, I have no masteries on anybody in this team. I just had the raw damage and damage from HP burn, so it was a little bit harder too. However, I finished it, 3-starred it, and obviously most of the damage, like I said, is from Skrank's HP burns. Now, let's have a quick look at the builds that I have on those champions. So, as I mentioned, Bellower, I have in my fastest stance that I have, and with a little bit of accuracy. This one you'd prefer to be around 200, but it worked honestly. So speed, accuracy, and then survivability. Like I said, barely any masteries. He is fully booked. Then I did have a piece of revenge, because why not? It can help. You get hit, he has a chance to counterattack, go for it, you know. Then Skrank, he's just basically an accuracy stuff with some damage. He's not perfectly built. I just swapped a few pieces on him to give him good enough speed, some crit rate and crit damage and attack, and then that's about it. He is fully booked, but he does not have masteries. Gear Grinder, again, no masteries. He is fully booked. I mean, you don't really care about the A1 to be booked. You want the A2, which is the heal to get on return cooldown, and the A3, which is the revive, to be booked. And then you're good to go. I actually ran him, like I said, in a Relentless, plus the Immortal. You could have either, if not Relentless, Reflex could work, but I feel like Relentless is better, because if he does more A1s, well, he's gonna keep putting continuous heals on himself if he crits. I did not stack crit on him, it just happened from time to time, but you can get him to have 100% crit, and he does not need regen, as I mentioned previously, like earlier. He will keep himself healed up with that continuous heal, plus the heal that he does on the A2, which means it allows you to get a Relentless that basically makes him rotate through his skills faster, especially the AoE heal and the revive that can come in clutch. Then I have Korogar Deathbell in a Guardian plus Immortal, because you know what, he's the tank in there. He heals himself every time he does A1. This one was really amazing because he boosts everybody's turn meter by 30% and does an AoE cleanse. This is huge. Obviously you got True Fear most of the time, but this is huge because you keep removing those debuffs out there, so that helps. But like I said, if you don't have him, maybe you have an Ugo that does that cleanse, or whoever else does some cleanse and some healing in the team can help instead of him. Then on this one he has the ally protection plus strengthen, as I said, and then the passive is interesting, gives him some resistance, some defense for every ally protection on allies. This can be pretty good, and also counter-attacking whenever an ally is attacked under ally protection was pretty good, because like I said, on his A1 he heals himself, so that makes him easily to sustain. He's definitely a god, but you know what, he's 5-star. He doesn't have no mastery, so it's not like I show god tier gear, I show god tier masteries, because this is my free-to-play account. Then I have the second Bellower that I also used in previous stages. Again, same principle, speed, accuracy, and survivability. Booked, no masteries. And then the Cake Eater, the Meat Shield himself, Prundar, at level 40, not even 4-star awakened. I ran him in a Guardian plus Perception again. He's like decently fast, some accuracy, and then some survivability. But like I said, it's all about his kit. He has a good kit for Faction Wars, and Prundar helped out. I didn't even have him booked, no masteries. And this was my Ogryn's Faction Wars 21, guys. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this gives you some ideas about how or what champions to use and how to tackle the Faction Wars yourself. Because you know what? Most of the champions, like I said, that I showed are easily accessible, and that should make you be able to beat your Ogryn's Faction Wars 21 as well if you're stuck on that one. But this is going to be it for the video today, guys. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care everyone. Bye guys.